This time in Goss's Garage, we're going to talk to Mr. Tony Fleming from Fleming's Ultimate Garage in Rockville, Maryland. Tony, welcome back to Goss's Garage.
Pat, thanks for having me. Hey, everybody, how you doing?
All right, now, great time of the year to own a collectible car. Why?
Well, imagine it's the middle of August, and you got everybody in the car. It's a Sunday afternoon. It's about 135 out in the shade, right? 99% humidity, but it's not really raining yet, right? And you have the top down, and although it's great to own a cool car in the evening when the sun goes down, that's a really tough time to own the car. Most of the people that live in this area for two reasons, and those two reasons are spring and fall.
Yes.
Okay? And those seasons here are spectacular. So the fall season for us, not only is it weather wonderful, it's also beautiful. And with the changing of the leaves and things like that, we have some incredible roads around here. You know, you and I talked about it earlier about even driving out to the Eastern Shore, those winding roads out there. But we also talked about the Blue Ridge Parkway and all of those trails that go along there, the beautiful stops that you can go. Can you imagine like you've grounded out all week long has been, you know, day in and day out, phone calls, text messages, every SEO product you could have, all of the digital pieces in your life, from your tweets and your email exchanges to your postings of Facebooks and whatever. I think if you looked back in your week, you'd see, you know what, I talked to 40,000 people, but not one person, human. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so you've done all that all week long, and you get in this car and this time of the year, and you decide to unplug. And when I say unplug, I say genuinely unplug, because in DC, for us to go to vibrate from ring is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah.
To go all the way to off is almost unheard of.
You know, I can agree with you there, because I can't remember the last time I turned my phone off. And even then, it was only to do an update.
Exactly. It was because you were forced to. And that's exactly where I'm getting at with this, is that we are so connected. And if you wonder why the therapy business is growing exponentially, it's because people are so tied into every digital aspect of everybody else's world all the time, and you're so reachable. Right? You can't not be reached. If somebody I've sent emails at 10 o'clock at night because I had something I needed to do, and they respond.
Yeah.
They don't need to respond to me.
Now, that means that essentially you're not in the car business, you're in the therapy business.
Well, you know what, now that you say that, I'm not licensed, so I'd like to disavow anything he's saying right now, but I do have kind of a license, and that's a license for fun. All right, and so imagine you get in this car after sending your 30,000 responses for the week, right? And you get in the car. For instance, I ride motorcycles, and one of the reasons I love motorcycles is I love the mechanical feel of motorcycles,
right,
and that kind of stuff. But the most important reason, and the other friends that I ride with as well, they're all they own their own businesses. They're busy, as I'm sure everyone is here, and as well as you are. You ride as well, and the one thing we love so much about riding motorcycles is it's an hour or 2 hours in our helmets with no interaction with anyone.
You mean you don't wear...
Right. I don't have a Bluetooth helmet. I don't have a Bluetooth heated jacket. It's just me, my helmet, my bike, and for 2 hours, man, 2 hours, I can disconnect. And this is the same kind of thing. The difference here is that these cars, you can take some people with you, and you can have a conversation with your kids or with another couple. When's the last time, you know, your kids weren't doing this in the back of the car or at the table? Am I right?
Exactly.
You see it all the time. Here's a chance for you to rebond with your kids. Get in the car, teach them about something that maybe you remember as a kid when your parents took you out for a drive. Everybody went to dinner. We talked about what happened during the day. What? We talked about what happened during the day? No, Jimmy's got homework right now. Then he's got Boy Scouts. Then he's got internet practice. Then he's got like all the other things in our lives. Here's a chance to slow down for a second.
Not only that, but this is the best time of the year to buy a lot of these collectible cars.
That's the side benefit of this thing that we're talking about, is that prices are based on supply and demand. You know, there's less supply because so many people want cars in the spring because they want to enjoy them all summer and what have you, and you know, summer gets warm and what have you. Then we have cars that are purchased during the off season, and you can buy them for less, and that's now the time to buy the car. And more importantly, if you were thinking about restoring a car or maybe trying to do one on your own or going to an auction, right? Here's a chance to have a car that's already been checked over, everything's been done to it, and you can get in it and use it next weekend.
Okay. Now, You mentioned auctions. A lot of people think that's the best way to buy a collectible.
I think it's the worst way to buy a collectible, and I'll tell you why. The auction is about, and I'm not banging the auctions because it's really a fun experience. I've been to lots of auctions in the past. But we don't typically buy there because the auction is only a facilitator between the seller and the buyer. You, right, you are willing to hold your hand up and be the last person and pay more than anybody else in the entire free world for that car that no one has looked at except you. And if you consider yourself an expert and you were able to check the brakes over and the leaks in the transmission and the front end components and whether the wiring in the dash work, did the turn signals work, did the backup lights work, did the brake lights work? We run into all this stuff all the time. We spend thousands on every single car, and that's what's going to happen to you as well. Not to mention the buyer's fee, 10%. You buy a $30,000 car, that's an additional $3,000, and you have to get it home.
Yeah.
Another $1,000 for shipping.
Exactly. No warranties or anything.
No.
It's as is, where is, and that's it.
That's correct, and I'm not trying to overplug Fleming's Ultimate Garage, but I am doing it anyway, just trying to do it subtly so you don't see it happening. What I'm getting at is that we're offering something that's a little different than everybody else. Here's a chance to come and see, touch, smell, and feel 75 cars in one place in one day, okay? Which is typically twice as much as any museum in the world, right? These are all for sale. They've been checked over. They come with a 1-year warranty, which is unheard of on a 50-year-old car. Nobody else gets that. And the reason we get that is because of the effort that we put into the cars checking it out. The warranty company allows us to put the warranty on it based on what we submit as paperwork for the check over on the car and the money that we spent on it.
Now, so people aren't confused about all of this. You not only sell the old collectibles, you also have some modern stuff.
Yes, and this is a great round of questioning, so he should be commended today for us. He's doing a really good job. All right, so we carry things pretty much 1 year and older, so like 2015s and older, where the depreciation has been kind of take out. And we talked about it earlier. Pat got a new car, and he bought a 2-year-old car that was an awesome buy, and a great-looking car on top of it, because he knows that buying a new car today, although a new car is awesome because you're the first person to have it, you're also the first person to pay the most for the depreciation of it.
Exactly.
And that's the trade-off that you're going to get.
And the nicer the car, in a lot of cases, the bigger the depreciation over the first 2 years.
Well, 99% of the cars, the more expensive they are, the bigger they hit that they take. So just to give you an idea, and this is how you can always know, give yourself an idea of what a new car might be worth. If you look at a lease is based on depreciation. And what you do on a lease when you lease a car versus buy a car is you pay for the depreciation. That's what you're paying for, the difference between the sticker price of the car and what the car is forecasted to be 3 years from now. That's typically around the 50% range.
Right.
So whatever you're paying for a car in 3 years, regardless of the miles you put on it, okay, it's going to be worth half of what you paid for it.
Yep.
That's how a lease works. That's a good formula to use. That's how I help people all the time figure out, hey, what's this car going to be worth? My $50,000 car in 3 years is going to be worth $25,000. Well, how's that possible? Well, it's because they're still making $50,000 cars. They got to get these used ones out.
Exactly. Tony, how can people get in touch with you?
They could reach us at 301-816-1000. They can reach us on the web at Fleming'sUltimateGarage.com. Or you should come visit us in Rockville if you can, and we'd love to see you there.
If you'd like more information, go to Goss-Garage.com.